Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Daily English Talks. I'm Mia, and today we are going to start a very special journey together. A journey that will show you exactly how to build 5 powerful English habits into your daily life. These habits are simple, but they can change everything about the way you speak, listen, and express yourself in English. Think of them as your secret tools for confidence and fluency. Before we get into the habits, I want you to picture something. Imagine that your English is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But just like a muscle, it doesn't grow from one big workout once in a while. It grows from small, consistent actions, repeated over time. And that's what habits do for you. They keep your English growing without you even noticing. Now, here's something important to understand. Many learners believe they need hours and hours of study every day to improve. But that's not true. Even 15 or 20 minutes of focused, consistent practice can make a huge difference if you do it every single day. The key is that your habits need to be active, engaging, and connected to real life. Let's start by setting the tone. You and I will treat this like a friendly conversation. I'll give you examples. I'll invite you to repeat after me. I'll encourage you to practice in your own environment wherever you are. And we'll focus on making your English not just correct, but natural. I want you to listen closely and repeat after me now. Every day, my English gets better. Again. Every day, my English gets better. One more time. Every day, my English gets better. When you say this out loud, you're not just practicing your pronunciation. You're also training your mind to believe in your progress. And trust me, that belief will make a difference in how motivated you feel. Now, let's move into our first focus area. Speaking English every day, even for a few minutes. You might think, but I don't have anyone to talk to. That's okay. You can speak to yourself. You can describe what you see, what you're doing, what you're thinking. For example, if you're making tea in the morning, you can say out loud, I am boiling water. I am putting tea leaves into the pot. I am pouring the tea into my cup. The tea smells fresh and warm. This kind of self-talk builds your fluency because it forces your brain to find words quickly. You're not translating from your native language. You're speaking directly in English. And over time, this makes a huge difference. Let's practice together. Look around you right now. Pick one thing you can describe. I'll give you an example and then you try. I am sitting at my desk. My phone is next to me. I can hear birds outside the window. Now it's your turn. Speak it out loud. Good. Try to add one more sentence. Excellent. Remember, when you speak to yourself in English, you are training your brain to think in English. It may feel strange at first, but soon it will feel natural. And the best part is, you can do this anywhere. In the kitchen, while walking, in the shower, or before bed. Let's make it a little more challenging. I want you to describe something that happened yesterday. For example, yesterday I woke up early, I went for a short walk, I made breakfast and drank a cup of coffee. Then I started my work. Now you try. Think about your yesterday and describe at least 3 things you did. Speak slowly and clearly. Don't worry if you pause or search for words. That's part of the process. Now, I'll give you a tip to make this habit easier. Link it to something you already do every day. For example, if you always make coffee in the morning, use that time to speak to yourself in English. If you always brush your teeth at night, use those 2 minutes to describe your day in English. When you attach the habit to something you already do, it becomes automatic. Let's also talk about listening, because speaking and listening work together. If you only speak but never listen, your brain won't learn the natural rhythm and pronunciation of English. So, make it a habit to listen to a little English every day. It could be me, here in daily English talks. It could be a short podcast, a short video, or even a song. But listen actively. That means don't just hear the words. Try to understand them. Here's an active listening exercise we can do together. I'm going to say a short sentence, and I want you to repeat it exactly as you hear it. Ready? The weather is beautiful today. Repeat. Again. And one more time. Now I'll say another. I am learning English every day. Repeat. Again and again. Notice how your mouth moves. Notice the way your voice rises and falls. That's how you develop a natural sound. Let's combine speaking and listening. I'll say a sentence, you repeat it, and then you change one detail to make it true for you. For example, I say, I am drinking tea. You repeat, I am drinking tea. Then you change it. Maybe you're drinking coffee, so you say, I am drinking coffee. Let's try. I am reading a book. Repeat. Now change it. I am walking to the park. Repeat. Now change it. Very good. This kind of habit doesn't just improve vocabulary, it improves flexibility. And flexibility is what allows you to speak without getting stuck. I want you to also practice building your sentences longer. Many learners stop after one short sentence, but in real conversations, you need to connect ideas. So instead of saying, I like pizza, you can say, I like pizza because it's delicious and easy to make at home. Let's practice. I'll give you a short sentence and you make it longer. I enjoy reading. Add a reason. Add a detail. Now you try with I'm learning English. Add why. Add how long you've been learning. These daily habits, speaking, listening, repeating, and expanding your sentences, are the foundation of fluency, and we'll keep building them as we move forward. In our next steps, we're going to talk about more creative ways to make these habits exciting, so you never feel bored. And we'll add more practice that feels like real conversation. But for now, I want you to focus on 2 things today. Talk to yourself in English at least twice. And listen actively to a few sentences, then repeat them exactly as you hear them. All right, take a breath, smile, and remember, you're not just learning English, you're building it into your life. And every word you say today is a step closer to confidence. When we left off, you were working on speaking to yourself in English and repeating sentences exactly as you hear them. Now I want to take that habit and make it a little more dynamic. One of the fastest ways to improve fluency is to practice describing what is happening right now in the exact moment you are speaking. This habit is powerful because it connects your thinking directly to English without translating. For example, I might look around and say, I am sitting in my chair. I can feel the smooth surface of the desk under my hands. The air feels cool and fresh in the room. I want you to try this now. Look around and speak about 3 things you can see, hear, or feel. Remember, don't translate in your head. Just speak directly in English, even if the sentences are simple. Go ahead. Now, let's stretch your mind a little further. After you describe something in the present, add a small detail about the past or the future. This helps you practice different tenses naturally. For example, I am sitting in my chair and earlier I was reading a book. Or, I am drinking tea and later I will call my friend. This makes your sentences richer and your thinking more flexible. I'll give you some prompts and you answer aloud. I am eating lunch and earlier I finish the sentence. I am listening to this and later I will finish the sentence. Good. These small changes train your brain to move between tenses quickly, which is a key skill for natural conversation. Another important habit is to focus on pronunciation every single day. This doesn't mean you need to study phonetic symbols or do long drills, although those can help. It means you take a few minutes to pay attention to how words feel in your mouth and how they sound when you say them. Let's practice together. I'll say a sentence slowly and you repeat it exactly. I can improve my English every day. Again, now a little faster. I can improve my English every day. One more time, naturally. When you repeat like this, you're not just copying sounds, you're building muscle memory in your mouth. Over time, your pronunciation will become clearer without you forcing it. Let's also bring in shadowing practice. This means listening to a short sentence and repeating it immediately, trying to match the rhythm and tone exactly. I will say a sentence and I want you to repeat it right after me. It's a beautiful morning today. Again. I'm feeling motivated to learn English. Good. Speaking every day helps me improve quickly. Excellent. Shadowing is like training your brain and your mouth to work at the same speed as a native speaker. Now let's work on something that often makes learners feel nervous: speaking without preparation. This is where daily improvisation comes in. Improvisation means you choose a topic and start speaking about it immediately without writing notes or planning. It could be something simple like my favorite food, a place I like to visit, or my last weekend. The point is to train your brain to produce English instantly. Let's try one now. Your topic is my favorite meal. I'll start. My favorite meal is breakfast. I love the smell of coffee in the morning. I usually eat bread with eggs, and sometimes I add some fruit. It makes me feel full and ready to start the day. Now you go. Talk about your favorite meal for at least 4 sentences. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just keep talking. Here's a tip. If you forget a word, don't stop. Use other words to explain it. For example, if you can't remember the word strawberry, you could say a small red fruit that is sweet and often used in desserts. This skill of explaining words you don't know is called circumlocution, and it's very valuable in conversation. Let's practice that skill right now. I'll give you some words and you try to explain them in English without saying the word. For example, if I say umbrella, you might say, it's something you use when it rains to stay dry. Here's your first one. Glasses. Now try pencil and blanket. This kind of exercise forces your brain to think creatively in English and helps you keep conversations going smoothly. Another daily habit you can build is to review and use new vocabulary. Many learners write down new words but never actually use them in real life. That's like planting seeds but never watering them. So every day, choose 2 or 3 words you've recently learned and use them in sentences out loud. Even better, try to use them in a conversation or in your self-talk practice. Let's do it together. I'll give you 3 words: challenge, comfortable, and improve. Now, make a sentence with each. For example, learning English is a challenge, but I enjoy it. This chair is very comfortable. I want to improve my listening skills this month. Now you try. Speak each sentence clearly. When you repeat and reuse new vocabulary like this, the words move from your short-term memory to your active speaking vocabulary. That means you'll be able to use them naturally when you need them. Finally, let's talk about one more powerful practice for today: recording yourself. I know many learners feel shy about hearing their own voice, but this is one of the most effective ways to track your progress. You don't need special equipment. Just use your phone. Speak for 1 or 2 minutes about anything, then listen. Notice your pronunciation, your grammar, your speed. You don't have to be perfect. The goal is to hear yourself, notice small things you can improve, and feel proud of the progress you're making. If you record yourself every day, even for 1 minute, you'll be amazed at how different you sound in a month or two. And the recordings will give you real evidence that your English is improving. So, today's focus is to keep speaking to yourself. Describe what you see right now. Practice moving between tenses. Shadow a few sentences. Reuse your new vocabulary and, if you can, record yourself. These are small steps, but they create big results over time. Tomorrow or the next time you listen to this, we'll build on these habits with more conversation-style practice, role plays, and listening challenges so you can keep growing in confidence. And remember, your English doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. The fact that you're here practicing every day means you're already ahead of most learners. Take one more deep breath, smile, and say with me, I am improving my English every day. Again. I am improving my English every day. One more time. I am improving my English every day. That's the mindset that will carry you forward. You've already been practicing speaking to yourself, describing your surroundings, shadowing sentences, and reusing vocabulary. Now we're going to take these habits and expand them so they feel more like real conversations. This will help you prepare for any moment when you might need to speak English. Whether it's talking to a friend, joining a meeting, or meeting someone new. One of the most useful daily habits you can add is asking yourself questions in English. Why? Because in real conversations, you don't just answer, you also ask. And forming questions in English automatically trains you to think faster and more flexibly. You can start with simple ones. What time is it? Where am I going today? What will I eat for lunch? Then move to more open-ended ones. What do I think about this topic? Why do I like this place? Let's practice together. I'll ask you a question. You answer aloud, then I'll have you create a new question for yourself. First question. What did you do this morning? Answer out loud. Good. Now make a new question starting with what or why. Now answer it. This kind of self-conversation makes you both the speaker and the listener, which strengthens both skills at once. You can also combine this habit with shadowing. For example, I'll ask, how was your day yesterday? You repeat exactly as I say. How was your day yesterday? Then you answer, it was good. I went to the park and enjoyed the fresh air. Now you try. Repeat the question. Then give your own answer. Now, let's bring in a very powerful technique, story building. Storytelling is one of the best ways to practice fluency because it naturally uses different tenses, connectors, and descriptive language. And it's something you can do every day, even for just 1 minute. You can tell a story from your own life or make one up. The important thing is to start simply and then add more detail each time you tell it. Let's try a simple personal story together. I'll start with the short version. Last weekend, I visited my friend. We had lunch together. Then we walked around the city. Now I'll tell it again with more details. Last weekend, I visited my friend Anna. We met at a small cafe near her home and had lunch together. I ordered pasta and she ordered a salad. After lunch, we walked around the city, looked at some shops, and enjoyed the sunny weather. See how the second version gives more color and makes the story richer? Now it's your turn. Think of something simple you did recently, maybe yesterday or last week. Tell the short version first, then tell it again with more detail. Speak slowly, clearly, and keep your voice steady. This kind of daily habit will make your storytelling smoother and more interesting. Let's also add description practice for objects. This is something you can do anywhere, and it's very useful for expanding vocabulary. Pick an object near you. I'll model it first. I see a mug. It is white with a blue handle. It's made of ceramic and feels smooth to the touch. It has warm tea inside. Now you try. Pick an object. Say its name. Describe its color, shape, material, and how it feels. To make this habit even stronger, use comparison. For example, my mug is bigger than my cup. It's heavier, but it keeps drinks warm longer. Comparisons make your English more expressive. Let's try together. This chair is more comfortable than the sofa. Now you make Y, our own comparison. Good. Another thing I want you to start doing every day is practicing short role plays with yourself. This might sound strange, but it works. You imagine a situation and then you play both roles. Ask the question, then answer it. Let's do a cafe example. I'll be the customer first. Hello, can I have a cup of coffee, please? Now you be the barista. Sure. Would you like it with milk or without? Now, switch roles. You be the customer and I'll be the barista. Go ahead. You can practice this for many situations: ordering food, booking a hotel room, making a phone call, introducing yourself to a new colleague. By rehearsing these daily, you'll feel prepared when the real situation comes. Now, let's work on connectors, words that link ideas and make your sentences flow naturally. Words like because, so, and, but, then, and after that. Many learners speak in short, disconnected sentences, but using connectors will make you sound more fluent. For example, I woke up late, so I didn't have time for breakfast. Or, I like tea, but I also enjoy coffee in the morning. Let's practice. I'll give you 2 short sentences and you connect them with a linking word. It's raining. I took my umbrella. You could say, it's raining, so I took my umbrella. Now you try. I was tired. I went to bed early. Good. One more. I love traveling. I don't like packing. Excellent. Another habit I want you to build is practicing short listening and summarizing exercises. You listen to something in English, then you explain it in your own words. This helps with comprehension and speaking at the same time. Let's try a mini version right now. Listen carefully. Yesterday, I met my friend at the park. We walked for an hour and then had ice cream together. Now, tell me what you understood in your own words. This habit trains you to catch the main ideas quickly. In real conversations, you don't need to remember every single word. You need to understand the meaning and respond. And finally, for today's segment, I want you to add a gratitude habit to your English practice. Every evening, say out loud 3 things you're grateful for in English. It could be simple. I am grateful for my family. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for the nice weather. This not only improves your English, but also keeps you in a positive mindset, which makes learning easier. Before we close this part, let's do a full mini practice session together. Describe something you see right now. Tell a short story about yesterday. Ask yourself a question and answer it. Make a comparison between 2 things. End with 3 things you're grateful for. Doing this daily will make your English more natural and more automatic. Now take a deep breath, smile, and remind yourself, I am creating strong English habits every day. Say it with me again. I am creating strong English habits every day. One more time. I am creating strong English habits every day. By now, you've been speaking to yourself, asking and answering your own questions, telling short stories, describing objects, and connecting sentences. These habits are powerful because they cover multiple skills at once: speaking, listening, thinking in English, and expanding your vocabulary. In this part, we'll push those habits a little further and make them feel even more like real-life English. One of the most important things you can add to your daily routine is emotional expression in English. Many learners focus only on correct grammar, but in real conversation, the emotion in your voice matters just as much as the words. If you sound flat, people might not feel the meaning you want to share. So, every day, practice saying the same sentence with the different emotions. Let's try it together. The sentence is, I can't believe it. Say it with surprise. Now say it with happiness. Now say it with frustration. Notice how your tone, speed, and even your facial expression change depending on the feeling. You can practice this with any sentence. Try, that's amazing, with excitement, then with sarcasm. This will make your English sound alive and natural. Another habit you can practice daily is explaining your opinions. In English, people often share what they think and why. You can practice this even without anyone around. Pick a topic, any topic, and say, I think, followed by your opinion. Then add because and give your reason. For example, I think learning English every day is better than studying once a week because it keeps the language fresh in my mind. Let's do a few together. I'll give you a sentence starter, and you finish it with your opinion and a reason. I think mornings are the best time to study English because... Finish it. I think reading in English is... Finish it. I think speaking to yourself in English is... Finish it. This habit helps you speak longer and more confidently, especially in conversations where people ask for your opinion. Now, let's build on our storytelling practice from before. This time, I want you to add dialogue to your story. Dialogue means you include what people said in the situation. For example, yesterday, I met my friend at the park. She said, "Hi, how are you?" And I replied, "I'm great, thank you. How about you?" We talked for a while about our weekend plans. Adding dialogue makes your stories more realistic and gives you a chance to practice natural conversation phrases. Here's your task. Think of a short memory and add at least 2 lines of dialogue to it. Speak it out loud now. You can even make up the dialogue if you don't remember exactly what was said. The goal is to get comfortable with everyday conversation patterns. Another daily exercise you can use is sentence expansion. Start with a very short sentence and keep adding information until it becomes long and detailed. For example, I went to the store. I went to the store yesterday. I went to the store yesterday to buy some fruit. I went to the store yesterday to buy some fruit because I wanted to make a salad. I went to the store yesterday to buy some fruit because I wanted to make a salad for my friends who were visiting in the evening. See how it grows? This trains you to speak in longer, richer sentences naturally. Let's practice together. Start with, I saw a movie. Now add details. When, where, with whom, and why. Keep going until you have at least 5 connected ideas in one sentence. This will make your spoken English sound more fluent and expressive. Now let's focus on listening and repeating with variations. I'll say a sentence, you repeat it exactly, and then you change one part. For example, I say, I went for a walk in the morning. You repeat it, then change it to, I went for a walk in the evening. Ready? I'm drinking tea right now. Repeat. Now change it. I called my friend yesterday. Repeat. Now change it. This exercise builds flexibility so you can adapt your English quickly during real conversations. Another habit you should add is practicing if sentences. Conditional sentences are very common in English. For example, if it rains, I will stay home. Or, if I had more time, I would learn another language. You can practice one every day. Try this. If I wake up early tomorrow, I will finish it. If I had $1 million, I would finish it. By making these sentences daily, you become more confident in expressing possibilities and hypothetical situations. Let's also spend a moment on rhythm. English has a natural rhythm. Some words are stressed more than others. This makes speech sound smooth. You can practice rhythm by clapping or tapping your hand as you speak. Let's try. Say, I'm going to the market today, and tap on the stressed words. I'm going to the market today. Feel how the beat makes it flow? Try this with, she's learning English every morning. Tap along. This is especially helpful for sounding natural when you speak at a normal speed. Now we'll combine many habits into one mini conversation workout you can do daily. Step 1. Describe your surroundings. Step 2. Tell a short story. Step 3. Add dialogue to the story. Step 4. Express an opinion with a reason. Step 5. Finish with a conditional sentence. For example, I'm sitting at my desk. Yesterday I went to the park with my friend. She said, let's go for ice cream, and I said, great idea. I think parks are the best place to relax because they're peaceful and full of fresh air. If I had more free time, I would go to the park every day. Before we end this part, I want you to repeat after me for confidence building. I can speak English more fluently every day. Again. I can speak English more fluently every day. One more time. I can speak English more fluently every day. The more you believe this, the more naturally it will happen. By now, you've been practicing speaking to yourself, describing what's around you, telling stories, adding dialogue, giving opinions, and even using conditional sentences. In this part, we'll focus on habits that train your brain to think faster in English, respond naturally, and make your speech sound more confident. One daily habit I want you to start using is speed thinking in English. This is not about speaking fast. It's about thinking fast so your words come more easily. The exercise is simple. Choose a random topic and give yourself only 5 seconds to start speaking about it. Don't prepare, don't translate, just start. For example, if the topic is my favorite season, you immediately say, my favorite season is spring because the flowers start to bloom and the weather feels fresh. Even if it's not perfect, the goal is to reduce hesitation. Let's try together. I'll give you a topic. You start speaking right away. Topic: a place I want to visit. Go. Now another. My favorite drink. Go. One more. What I did last weekend. Go. See how it forces you to react quickly? This is exactly what happens in real conversations. Someone asks you something and you have to respond without long pauses. Another powerful habit is rephrasing. This means saying the same idea in a different way. It's useful when you can't remember a word or when you want to make sure the listener understands. For example, I'm starving can also be I'm very hungry or I could eat a lot right now. Let's practice. I'll say a sentence and you say it in a different way. I'm tired. You could say, I'm exhausted, or I don't have much energy right now. It's very hot today. You could say, the weather is really warm, or it feels like summer. You can turn this into a daily practice by picking one sentence and rephrasing it 3 different ways. It's a simple exercise that makes your speaking more flexible. Now, let's work on follow-up questions. In English, conversations flow better when you ask the other person something after they answer you. For example, person A, I went to the beach yesterday. Person B, oh, nice. Which beach did you go to? Or, was the weather good? By asking follow-up questions, you keep the conversation alive. Here's a quick exercise. Pretend I'm telling you something and you think of a follow-up question. I say, I bought a new phone last week. What could you ask? Maybe, what kind of phone did you buy? Or, why did you choose that one? I say, I watched a movie last night. You could ask, what movie was it? Or, did you like it? Try to do this with any sentence you hear during the day, even in your own practice. Another habit is mini debates with yourself. Pick a topic and argue both sides. For example, topic. Is it better to live in the city or the countryside? First, argue for the city. Living in the city is better because there are more job opportunities and entertainment. Then, argue for the countryside. Living in the countryside is better because it's quieter and less stressful. This exercise forces you to use different vocabulary and see topics from different perspectives. Let's try one more. Topic. Studying in the morning versus studying at night. Speak for morning, now speak for night. Doing this every day will make your English more adaptable. We should also include number and time practice in your daily habits. Numbers and time expressions are used in almost every conversation, talking about dates, prices, times, distances. So, practice them every day. You could say, it's 7:45 in the morning, or the train leaves at 3:15, or this costs $15.50. Try saying a few now, and to make it more challenging, put them into sentences. I woke up at 6:30 today to go for a run. My birthday is on the 12th of June. Let's now focus on linking sentences smoothly. This makes your English sound more natural. Instead of saying, I went to the shop, I bought some milk, I came home, you can say, I went to the shop and bought some milk, then I came home. Notice how it flows better? Let's practice. I'll give you 3 short sentences and you link them into one. I woke up early, I made breakfast, I went to work, good. Another. I finished my homework, I watched TV, I went to bed. This is a great way to make your speaking smoother. Now, let's do a full fluency workout combining several habits. I'll guide you step by step. First, describe something you see right now. Second, give your opinion about it. Third, rephrase your opinion in a different way. Fourth, ask yourself a follow-up question about it and answer it. Fifth, make a conditional sentence about it. For example, I see my laptop. I think it's very useful because it helps me work and learn. In other words, it's an important tool in my life. What would I do without it? I think I would struggle to get my work done. If I didn't have my laptop, I would need to go to the library every day. Now you try with something around you. Finally, I want you to end each daily practice with positive affirmations. These are short, powerful sentences you say to yourself to build confidence. Repeat after me. My English improves every time I practice. Again. I can express myself in English clearly. Again. I am confident when I speak English. These may seem small, but they keep your mindset strong, and your mindset is the foundation of your fluency. If you keep adding these habits to your routine, speaking English will feel less like studying and more like living the language. And when you live the language, fluency comes naturally. By now, you've built a foundation with habits like speaking to yourself, asking and answering questions, telling stories, using dialogue, rephrasing ideas, asking follow-up questions, and linking sentences. In this part, we're going to focus on habits that will help you express more detail, use richer vocabulary, and train your brain to speak without hesitation in a variety of situations. One very effective habit is describing from memory. Instead of talking only about what you see right now, you recall something from the past and describe it as if it's happening in front of you. For example, think about a place you visited, maybe a park, a cafe, or a friend's house. Describe it in detail. The cafe was small but cozy. The walls were painted light blue, and there were plants hanging near the windows. I could smell fresh coffee as soon as I walked in. This builds your descriptive vocabulary and makes you more confident in painting a picture with words. Now, let's make it interactive. Choose one place from your life and describe what you saw, heard, smelled, and felt there. Speak it slowly and clearly. Even if you don't remember every detail, use your imagination to fill the gaps. This is exactly what great storytellers do. Another habit that will help you improve is paraphrasing listening material. Listen to something short, just 1 or 2 sentences, then say the same thing in your own words. This helps your listening comprehension and makes you better at expressing ideas flexibly. Let's try. I'll say a sentence. You listen carefully. I decided to go for a walk because the weather was nice. Now you could say, I went out for a walk since it was a beautiful day. Here's another. She didn't come to the meeting because she was feeling sick. You might say, she missed the meeting because she wasn't feeling well. This exercise not only helps your fluency, but also makes you better at summarizing and rephrasing in conversations. We'll also work on daily observation. This is a habit where you spend 1 or 2 minutes each day observing something closely in your environment and describing it in English. It could be a person walking past you, a car parked outside, or even your own hand holding a cup. The idea is to notice small details you normally ignore and put them into English words. For example, I see a silver car parked across the street. It has tinted windows and a small dent on the back door. The sunlight is reflecting off the windshield, making it look bright. Doing this daily trains you to be specific in your descriptions and makes your vocabulary more precise. Now let's move to connecting actions and feelings. Often, learners describe what they're doing, but they forget to connect it to how they feel. In English, adding emotions makes your speech richer. For example, instead of saying, "I'm drinking tea," you could say, "I'm drinking tea and it makes me feel relaxed." Or, "I'm walking in the park and the fresh air feels refreshing after a long day." Let's practice. Describe something you're doing or have done today and add a feeling to it. Say it now, then try another. This builds a habit of not just reporting actions, but expressing your personal experience of them. Another important daily habit is time-based narration. This means practicing talking about events in order, what happened first, next, and last. In real conversations, this is a common way to share stories. For example, first, I woke up and had breakfast. Then I checked my emails. After that, I went for a short walk. Finally, I started working on my project. These connecting words, first, then, after that, finally, make your speech easier to follow. Let's do one together. Think of something you did yesterday and tell it in 4 steps using these connectors. Speak it out loud. Then try with something you did last week. Now, let's bring in scenario improvisation. Imagine a situation and speak as if you are in it. This is a great way to prepare for real-life conversations before they happen. For example, imagine you are at the airport. You might say, "Hello, I'd like to check in for my flight to New York." Or imagine you're in a restaurant. "Could I please see the menu?" This type of role play prepares you for the exact phrases you'll need in daily life. Here's a challenge for you. Pick 3 different scenarios today and practice speaking in them for 1 minute each. They could be shopping for clothes, visiting a doctor, or making a hotel booking. Will all. So add transitional language practice to your habits. This means learning phrases that help you move from one idea to another smoothly. Examples. Speaking of that, by the way, that reminds me. Anyway, in conversation, these small phrases make you sound more natural and help you keep talking without awkward pauses. Let's try. I say, "I had a great time at the park yesterday." You could respond with, "Speaking of the park, Have you been to the new one near the river? I say, I'm learning how to cook Italian food. You might say, that reminds me, I tried a new pasta recipe last week. Finally, let's do a full practice flow combining habits from all the parts so far. Describe something in detail. Add how it makes you feel. Tell a short story about a past experience. Include dialogue in that story. Give your opinion about the experience. Rephrase your opinion in another way. Then finish with a conditional sentence about it. For example, I'm looking at my favorite coffee mug. It makes me feel calm because I use it every morning. Last week I was drinking from it when my friend called me. She said, "Are you busy?" And I said, "Just enjoying my coffee." I think mornings are the best time for coffee because they feel peaceful. In other words, coffee in the morning gives me energy for the day. If I didn't have my coffee, I would feel sleepy until noon. Before we end this part, repeat after me 3 times. I can describe, express, and connect my ideas in English. Again. I can describe, express, and connect my ideas in English. One last time. I can describe, express, and connect my ideas in English. By now, you've practiced describing things in detail, adding feelings, telling stories in sequence, rephrasing, asking follow-up questions, and role-playing real-life situations. In this part, we're going to strengthen your ability to react in English, keep conversations going, and speak in a way that feels smooth and confident, even when you don't have much time to think. One very important daily habit is reaction training. In real life, you often need to respond quickly to what someone says, sometimes with a short comment, sometimes with a question. You can train for this by listening to a short sentence and giving a natural reaction in English immediately. For example, if someone says, "I just got a new job," you could respond with, "That's great, congratulations," or, "Wow, what kind of job is it?" If someone says, "It's been raining all day," you might say, "I know, it's so wet outside," or, "Yes, it's the perfect weather for staying inside and reading." Let's try. I'll give you some statements, and you give a quick, natural response out loud. I just came back from vacation. I lost my wallet yesterday. I tried sushi for the first time. This type of quick reaction training will make you sound more engaged and natural in conversations. Another daily habit is expanding on short answers. Many learners answer questions with only 1 or 2 words, which can make the conversation end too soon. Instead of just saying yes or no, add a reason, detail, or example. For example, question: Do you like reading? Short answer: yes. Expanded answer: yes, I love reading because it helps me relax and learn new things. Question: Did you enjoy the movie? Short answer: no. Expanded answer: no, not really. I thought the story was too slow, but the music was nice. Let's practice. I'll ask you some questions, and you give expanded answers. Do you enjoy cooking? Have you ever traveled to another country? Do you like learning English? This habit is key for sounding open and friendly in conversations. We should also practice story continuation. This is where you take a very short statement and add to it as if you're telling a bigger story. For example, short. I went to the supermarket. Continuation. I went to the supermarket yesterday because I needed to buy vegetables for dinner. It was very crowded, and I had to wait in line for a long time. But I found everything I needed, so it was worth it. Let's do a few. Start with, I woke up early today. Now add more. Another, I met a friend last weekend. Add more. This habit teaches you to develop your ideas instead of stopping after one sentence. Another important skill for daily practice is clarifying and confirming. In English, it's common to make sure you understood someone correctly by repeating part of what they said in your own words. This not only helps you avoid misunderstandings, but also shows you're paying attention. For example, Person A, I'm meeting John at 3 o'clock. Person B, oh, so you're meeting him at 3? Let's try. I'll say something and you respond by confirming it. I'm going to the dentist tomorrow. I need to finish my project by Friday. I'm learning how to play the guitar. We'll also add contrast sentences to your habit list. These are sentences that show two sides of something, using words like but, however, although, or while. For example, I like living in the city, but it can be noisy. Although it's raining, we can still go for a walk. Contrasts make your speech richer and more balanced. Practice with me. I'll give you two ideas, and you combine them into one contrast sentence. Idea 1. I'm tired. Plus, I need to finish my work. Idea 2. I enjoy swimming. Plus, I don't like cold water. Another habit is retelling. Listen to something short and tell it again in your own words. This could be a short news story, a scene from a movie, or even a friend's experience. For example, if you hear, my neighbor just adopted a puppy and it's very playful, you could retell it as, my neighbor got a new puppy and it loves to play. Doing this daily will help you keep conversations alive because you can share in interesting things you've heard with others. To make things more interactive, let's create a daily conversation warm-up routine you can do in 5 minutes. Greet yourself or someone aloud. Good morning. How are you today? Describe something around you in detail. Tell a short story from yesterday. Give your opinion on something you see or hear. Ask and answer one follow-up question. End with one positive affirmation about your English. Let's do a quick example. Good morning. I'm sitting at my desk and the sunlight is coming through the window. Yesterday, I went for a walk in the park and saw children playing. I think spending time in nature is very relaxing. Why do I feel so calm after a walk? I guess it's because of the fresh air and quiet environment. I'm improving my English every single day. Before we close this part, let's practice 3 affirmations together. I can respond naturally in English. Again. I can respond naturally in English. One more time. I can respond naturally in English. These quick habits, done every single day, will make your conversations smoother and your responses faster. By now, you've been practicing quick reactions, expanding short answers, continuing stories, confirming information, and creating contrast sentences. These are great for everyday conversations, but now we're going to focus on habits that will make your speech sound even more natural, organized, and engaging, so you can express yourself clearly in any situation. One habit I want you to include in your daily routine is grouping your ideas. In conversations, native speakers often present related points together instead of saying them randomly. For example, instead of, I like pizza, I like pasta, I also like salad, you could group them. I like Italian food, especially pizza, pasta, and salad. This makes your speech smoother and easier to follow. Let's practice. I'll give you 3 separate sentences and you comb them into one grouped idea. I went shopping yesterday. I bought apples. I bought bananas. You could say, I went shopping yesterday and bought apples and bananas. Another, I enjoy reading books. I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy listening to music. Now you group them. This daily habit makes your speaking more fluid and connected. Another important skill is giving examples to support what you say. This is very common in English when explaining or persuading someone. For example, I like outdoor activities such as hiking, cycling, and swimming. Or, I'm learning English in many ways. For example, by reading, listening to podcasts, and speaking with friends. Every day, when you say something, try to add for example or such as, followed by at least 2 examples. Let's try. Complete these sentences with examples. I enjoy cooking, such as, I want to visit some countries, for example. I like learning English in different ways, such as, this makes your English more detailed and interesting to listen to. We should also add cause and effect practice. This means connecting what happened with why it happened. You can use because, so, therefore, that's why, or as a result. For example, I stayed home because it was raining, or it was raining, so I stayed home. You can train this habit daily by taking any sentence you say and adding a reason or result. Let's practice. I'm learning English. Add a reason. I woke up early. Add a reason or result. I went to the park. Add a reason or result. This helps you give more complete answers in conversations and makes your speech richer. Another habit you can develop is painting pictures with words. This means making your description so vivid that the listener can imagine it clearly. For example, instead of saying, "The garden is nice," you could say, "The garden is full of colorful flowers, and I can hear birds singing in the trees." To do this, include at least one detail about sight, sound, smell, taste, or touch in your description. Let's practice. Choose something near you and describe it using two senses, such as sight and sound or smell and touch. Then try with another object using different senses. Doing this every day will make your English sound more engaging and creative. We'll also work on past, present, future connection. This is a great way to speak longer and link your thoughts. For example, last year I didn't speak much English. Now I speak English almost every day. In the future, I want to be completely fluent. See how it connects your history, your present, and your goals? Try this with your own example about learning English, about a hobby, or about a place you've lived. Another daily habit is summarizing your day at night in English. You can keep it short, just 3 to 5 sentences, but it forces you to think about the events of your day and put them into words. For example, today was busy. I had a meeting in the morning, then I went to the market to buy some fruit. In the evening, I cooked dinner and watched a movie. You can also record this summary on your phone to track your improvement over time. Now, let's add expanding small talk to your habits. In English, small talk is an important skill for building relationships. Even if the topic is simple, you can expand it by asking a related question or adding more detail. For example, Person A, "It's a sunny day." Person B, "Yes, it's perfect for going to the park. Do you have any plans for today?" By adding just one extra sentence or question, you keep the conversation alive. Let's practice. I'll give you a small talk starter, and you respond with an expansion. "It's quite cold today. The weekend is almost here. I like your jacket." This type of practice will help you in casual conversations with friends, co-workers, or strangers. We'll also include roleplay improvisation every day. Imagine you are in a real-life situation and speak as if it's happening right now. For example, you're at a train station asking for the next departure. "Excuse me, what time is the next train to London?" Or you're calling a hotel to make a booking. "Hello, I'd like to reserve a room for 2 nights, please." The more situations you imagine, the more prepared you'll be when they happen in real life. Finally, we'll end today's part with a combined fluency drill. Describe what you see, add examples, connect your thoughts with cause and effect, bring in a past, present, future connection, and finish with a question to keep the conversation going. For example, I'm looking at my bookshelf, which is full of novels and travel books, such as The Alchemist and Eat, Pray, Love. I bought these books because I enjoy reading stories that inspire me. A few years ago, I didn't read much, but now I read almost every evening, and in the future, I want to finish at least 2 books a month. What kinds of books do you enjoy? Before we wrap up this part, repeat these affirmations with me. I can speak in connected, clear, and interesting sentences again. I can speak in connected, clear, and interesting sentences. One more time. I can speak in connected, clear, and interesting sentences. By now, you've worked on grouping ideas, giving examples, expressing cause and effect, using sensory details, connecting past, present, future, summarizing your day, and expanding small talk. Now, in this part, we'll focus on habits that strengthen your ability to speak more persuasively, tell more memorable stories, and think more quickly in conversations. One valuable daily habit is sharing personal experiences with lessons learned. This means not only telling what happened, but also explaining what you learned from it. For example, last week I missed the bus because I left home late. I learned that I should prepare my things the night before so I can leave on time. This gives your speaking more depth and makes it more engaging for listeners. Let's practice. Think of something that happened recently. Maybe you tried something new, made a small mistake, or had a surprising moment. Tell me what happened, then add what you learned from it. This habit will make your stories more meaningful and memorable. Another important skill is describing processes. In daily life, you often need to explain how to do something, like a recipe, a game, or a work task. You can practice this every day by choosing one activity and explaining it step by step in English. For example, to make tea, first boil some water, then put the tea leaves or tea bag into a cup. Next, pour the hot water into the cup. Finally, wait a few minutes before drinking it. This kind of clear explanation is useful in many situations, from teaching to giving instructions at work. Now, choose something you know well, maybe cooking a dish, fixing something, or using a phone app, and explain it in English as clearly as possible. We'll also focus on hypothetical thinking every day. This means speaking about imaginary situations. You can use if or what if. For example, if I could travel anywhere right now, I would go to Japan. What if we could live on another planet? Hypothetical thinking exercises your imagination and teaches you to use more advanced grammar naturally. Let's practice. If I had an extra day off this week, I would finish the sentence. What if I won a free trip to any country? I would choose finish the sentence. Try to change the topics each day to keep it fresh. Another daily habit you can add is predicting. This is when you talk about what you think will happen in the future. You can practice it with real events, your own plans, or even TV shows and books. For example, I think it's going to rain tomorrow because the clouds are very dark. Or, I think my friend will call me tonight because she mentioned she had news to share. No. Predict something about your own day tomorrow. Then predict something about next week. This keeps you practicing the will future and helps you express expectations naturally. Let's also practice contrasting past and present habits. You can use used to or but now. For example, I used to be shy about speaking English, but now I feel more confident. Or, I used to watch TV every night, but now I spend more time reading. This habit shows progress and change, which is common in everyday conversations. Now, think of 2 things in your life that have changed and make sentences using used to. We should also include problem solution practice in your daily routine. This means you describe a problem and then suggest a way to solve it. For example, sometimes I forget new vocabulary. To solve this, I write the words in a notebook and review them daily. This builds clear logical thinking in English and helps you in both casual and professional situations. Let's practice. I'll give you a problem, you give me a solution. Problem. I don't have much time to practice English. Problem. I often forget what I learned last week. Another strong habit is mini summaries of content you consume. Every time you read an article, watch a video, or listen to a podcast, try summarizing it in 2 or 3 sentences in English. This not only improves your speaking, but also your memory and comprehension. Now, think of the last thing you watched or read and tell me the main idea in just 2 sentences. Before we end this part, let's do a full fluency workout combining what we've just learned. Tell a short personal story with a lesson you learned. Describe a process step by step. Create a hypothetical situation and explain it. Predict something for the future. Contrast a past habit with your current habit. Give a problem and a solution. Here's an example. Last weekend, I forgot to bring my umbrella and I got wet in the rain. I learned that I should always check the weather before going out. To make coffee first, grind the beans, then boil water, and finally pour the hot water over the coffee grounds. If I could change one thing about my house, I would make the kitchen bigger. I think it will be sunny tomorrow because today the sky is clear. I used to avoid speaking English with strangers, but now I try to start small conversations. I sometimes get distracted while studying, so I put my phone in another room to help me focus. Let's finish this part with 3 strong affirmations. Repeat after me. I can share my experiences clearly in English. Again. I can share my experiences clearly in English. One more time. I can share my experiences clearly in English. By now, you've been practicing personal storytelling with lessons learned, describing processes, using hypothetical situations, making predictions, contrasting past and present habits, and offering problem-solution answers. These skills are already making your speaking richer and more natural. Now, in this part, we're going to focus on habits that help you connect with people better in conversation, sound more confident, and use English in a way that feels engaging and smooth. One daily habit you can build is showing interest and encouragement in conversations. In English, when someone is speaking, it's common to add short responses like, "Really? That's interesting. I see what you mean," or "Exactly." These little responses keep the conversation alive and make the other person feel heard. You can practice this daily by listening to someone speak, whether in real life, on TV, or in a podcast, and reacting out loud with these short phrases. Let's practice. I'll say something and you respond with a short reaction. I just finished reading a great book. I tried a new recipe yesterday. I'm learning how to play the piano. This habit will help you feel more natural when interacting in English because it's not just about what you say when it's your turn. It's also about how you react when others speak. Another important skill is checking for understanding. In English, this is often done by asking questions like, "Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?" Or, "Have you ever felt that way?" This makes the conversation more interactive and gives the listener a chance to respond. Try adding one of these questions after you share an idea in English. For example, "I love traveling because it opens my mind. Do you know what I mean?" We'll also work on speaking in chunks. Instead of thinking about each word, you think about phrases. For example, instead of planning I plus am plus going plus to plus the plus park, you think I'm going to the park as one chunk. This makes your speech faster and smoother because your brain processes whole groups of words. You can practice this by taking a sentence and repeating it until it flows naturally without pauses between words. Let's try. I'm going to the store to buy some bread. Repeat it 3 times smoothly. Another. I've been learning English for 2 years now. Repeat. One more. I'm looking forward to the weekend. This habit will train your mouth and brain to work together in a natural rhythm. Another daily habit you should include is changing sentence structures. Many learners speak using the same patterns again and again, which can make their speech sound repetitive. You can train flexibility by saying the same idea in different ways. For example, "I can't wait to see that movie." "I'm really looking forward to watching that movie." That movie is something I'm excited to watch. Now you try. Take the sentence, "I like learning English," and say it in 3 different ways. Then do the same with, "It's very hot today." This habit will make you sound more versatile and confident. We should also practice describing people in detail. In everyday conversations, you might need to talk about friends, coworkers, or even strangers. You can practice by imagining a person and describing their appearance, clothing, and mood. For example, she's wearing a blue dress with white flowers, her hair is tied back, and she has a big smile on her face. Try describing someone you know or someone you see in a picture. Let's add location description to this, explaining where something is in relation to something else. For example, The library is next to the park across from the supermarket. Or, my phone is on the desk under my notebook. Practicing this daily makes you better at giving directions and describing places clearly. Another great habit is retelling events from a different perspective. Take an event you've already talked about and tell it again from another person's point of view. For example, if you told a story about going to the park with a friend, you could retell it from your friend's view. She invited me to the park because the weather was nice. She thought we could have ice cream after walking around. This habit makes your speaking more creative and helps you see situations in different ways. We'll also work on layering details, adding extra information one step at a time so your listener gets a fuller picture. For example, I saw a dog. I saw a small dog. I saw a small fluffy dog. I saw a small fluffy dog with a red collar. This is especially useful when you need time to think, because you can add one detail at a time while keeping the conversation going. Finally, we'll finish this part with a full practice flow combining several habits. React naturally to something you hear, share an idea and check for understanding. Speak in a smooth chunk, change the sentence structure, describe a person or place, retell something from another perspective, add layers of detail. Here's an example. You went to the new cafe? That's interesting. I like the atmosphere in small cafes. Do you know what I mean? I'm planning to go there next weekend. I've been wanting to try their coffee for a while. The barista is friendly and always smiling. From my friend's point of view, the cafe feels even better because it's close to her office. I saw a cake there. I saw a big chocolate cake. I saw a big, delicious chocolate cake with strawberries on top. Before we end this part, let's repeat 3 affirmations together. I can speak with confidence and variety in English. Again. I can speak with confidence and variety in English. One more time. I can speak with confidence and variety in English. Up to this point, you've worked on reacting naturally, checking for understanding, speaking in chunks, changing sentence structures, describing people and places, retelling from different perspectives, and layering details. Now we're going to focus on habits that strengthen your ability to keep conversations alive for longer. Express yourself clearly, even in tricky situations, and sound more confident in all kinds of interactions. One daily habit I recommend is bridging from one topic to another. In English conversations, topics often change naturally, and it's important to make smooth transitions. You can use phrases like speaking of, that reminds me, by the way, or while we're talking about. For example, I went to the beach yesterday. Speaking of the beach, have you ever tried surfing? Or, I just had some pasta for lunch. By the way, do you like Italian food? Let's practice. I'll give you a starting sentence and you connect it to another topic. I saw a movie last night. Now you could say, that reminds me, have you seen the new series on TV? Another, I bought a new jacket. You could say, "By the way, do you know where I can find a good winter coat?" This habit keeps conversations from going silent and shows you're comfortable moving between subjects. Another habit is balancing speaking and listening. Many learners focus only on what they will say, but in real life, people enjoy talking to someone who also listens well. A good balance is ask a question, listen to the answer, comment on it, and then add something of your own. For example, where did you go on holiday? Listen. Oh, you went to Italy. That sounds amazing. I've always wanted to visit Rome. You can practice this by role-playing both parts of a conversation, asking, answering, and reacting. We'll also focus on highlighting key points when you speak. In English, people often emphasize important words or phrases with their tone, or by using phrases like, "the best part was," "the main reason is," "what surprised me most was." For example, "the best part of my trip was the food. The pasta was incredible." Try this with your own stories to make them more interesting and memorable. Another useful daily habit is softening your language. This is especially important for being polite when making requests or giving opinions. Instead of "give me the salt," you can say, "Could you pass me the salt, please?" Instead of "You're wrong," you can say, "I see it differently," or "I'm not sure I agree." Practicing these softer phrases daily will make your English sound polite and professional. Let's practice. Change. Open the window into a softer request. Now change. "I don't like your idea," into something more polite. Another. Change. "You're late," into a softer form. Good. Say. We should also practice reformulating when someone doesn't understand you. This is a key real-life skill. If someone looks confused, you can say, "Let me put it another way," or "What I mean is." For example, "I'm under the weather. Let me put it another way. I'm feeling sick." You can practice this by taking a sentence and expressing it in a simpler way. Let's try. "This neighborhood has a lot of character." Now reformulate it in simpler terms. "The weather is unpredictable here." Reformulate. Another habit is anticipating questions. Before you explain something, think about what the listener might ask next and include the answer in your explanation. For example, "I'm going to Spain next week for work, just for 3 days, and I'll be in Madrid." You've already answered the possible questions, when and where. This skill makes your speaking clearer and saves time. Let's practice. Talk about a plan you have and try to answer possible questions before they're asked. We'll also include emphasizing similarities and differences. In many conversations, you compare experiences with someone else. You can use "I'm the same," that's different for me. Or, I've never tried that, but. For example, I love spicy food. You could say, I'm the same. I eat spicy food every day. Or, that's different for me. I prefer mild food. Try this with a few statements I give you. I love going to the gym. I watch movies every weekend. I don't drink coffee. Now let's combine several of these habits into a full conversation drill. Ask a question and react. To the answer, highlight one key point. Add a soft opinion or request. Reformulate if needed. Compare experiences. Transition to a new topic. Here's an example. Have you ever been to Japan? Listener answers. The best part for me when I visited was the food. I think Japanese street food is incredible. What I mean is, it's fresh and full of flavor. I'm the same when it comes to exploring markets. I could spend hours there. Speaking of travel, have you planned your next holiday yet? Before we end this part, let's repeat 3 affirmations together. I can guide and connect conversations in English. Again. I can guide and connect conversations in English. One last time. I can guide and connect conversations in English. At this point, you've practiced everything from self-talk, quick reactions, storytelling, adding dialogue, rephrasing, making comparisons, asking follow-up questions, connecting past, present, future, problem-solution speaking, softening your language, reformulating, and smoothly changing topics. Now it's about combining all these habits into a natural, flowing way of speaking that works in any conversation, whether it's casual, professional, or academic. One of the most powerful daily habits you can add now is personal connection building. This means finding something in common with the other person and building the conversation around it. In English, you can do this by listening carefully for shared experiences or interests and then linking them to your own. For example, Person A. I went hiking last weekend. Person B. Oh, I love hiking too. Where did you go? This not only keeps the conversation alive, but also makes it warmer and more friendly. Another habit is using story hooks, short, intriguing lines that invite the listener to ask more. Instead of starting with, I had dinner yesterday, you can say, yesterday, something unexpected happened during dinner. The listener will want to know what happened, and this makes your English more engaging. You can practice this by thinking of 3 everyday events and turning each into a story hook. We'll also work on closing conversations naturally. In English, conversations often end with polite closing phrases like, it was great talking to you, let's catch up again soon, or I'll talk to you later. Practicing these makes your interactions feel complete instead of ending suddenly. Try saying these with a smile and warm tone so they feel genuine. Another daily skill is review and reflection. At the end of each day, Take 5 minutes to think about the English you used. What went well, what was difficult, and one thing you can do better tomorrow. You can speak this reflection aloud or write it in a notebook. For example, today I spoke with a colleague in English and I used new vocabulary. I hesitated when explaining something, so tomorrow I'll practice that phrase. Reflection turns every day into a learning opportunity. You should also practice mixing formal and informal styles. In daily life, some situations require polite professional English, while others allow casual conversation. For example, formal. Could you please send me the document by Friday? Informal. Can you send me the file by Friday? Practicing both styles daily will make you more adaptable. Let's also add conversation endurance training. This means keeping a conversation going for at least 5 minutes without stopping. You can do this by rotating through habits you've learned. Ask a question, react, give an opinion, add a reason, share an example, compare experiences, tell a short related story, then ask another question. Doing this daily, even with yourself in front of a mirror, will build stamina and flow. Now, I want to guide you through a final fluency flow that brings everything together. Greet and start with small talk. React and find a personal connection. Ask a question and listen to the answer. Share an opinion and support it with a reason or example. Make a comparison or contrast. Add a short story or dialogue, reformulate if needed, smoothly change the topic, highlight a key point, close the conversation politely. Here's an example. Hi, how's your day going? Listener answers. Oh, I had a similar experience last week. By the way, have you ever tried working from a cafe? I think it's a great change of environment because it feels relaxing. For me, it's like combining work with a mini adventure. I used to work only at home, but now I enjoy going out sometimes. Yesterday, I told my friend, let's meet at the coffee shop. And she said, perfect, I'll bring my laptop. What I mean is, it's nice to mix work and social time. Speaking of that, do you usually work in the same place or try new spots? Anyway, the best part for me is discovering new cafes in the city. It's been great chatting with you. Let's catch up again soon. Before we close this final part, I want you to say 3 powerful affirmations with me. I can use my English naturally every day. Again, I can use my English naturally every day. One last time. I can use my English naturally every day. And remember, fluency is not built in one day. It's built in the small, consistent habits you choose to practice daily. Even just 10 minutes of active speaking, listening, and thinking in English will keep your skills alive and growing. These 5 habits we've explored, combined with all the techniques we've practiced in this journey, will make English not just a subject you study, but a language you live,